taxation. First of all, there are perfectly legal and acceptable manners in which to utilize international companies and financial institutions. Boeing, for example, utilizes offshore companies and bank accounts to operate its business enterprise, as does Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, IBM, ExxonMobil, Ace Hardware, as well as hundreds of if not thousands of other U.S.-based companies. Now, many businesses who want to form international companies and establish international bank accounts do so for business expansion, asset protection, or other perfectly acceptable purposes. And there are satisfactory ways to utilize such tools provided one complies with tax, securities, and other laws. Now, with that background, we delve into the world of international taxation. Now, there is a thought amongst some members of the public that if profits are distributed offshore, one is not required to pay taxes until they're brought back into the country. Now, this may have been the case in the past. However, as of 1964, U.S. tax laws changed, requiring taxation of both U.S. and international income. Like domestic companies, there are U.S. reporting requirements with respect to owning, directing, and controlling international companies. There are also tax and Treasury Department forms to complete when one has signatory authority over an international financial account. Though these forms are relatively simple, it is recommended that one secures a knowledgeable, licensed accountant to ensure the forms are properly and timely filed. Now, we believe in full compliance with U.S. and international law, including tax law. After all, somebody has to pay for the satellites. My father was a government employee, my son was a U.S. Marine, and those important jobs that keep our country safe cost money. So we believe in taking advantage of all the legal tax deductions possible and paying as little as the law allows. But once all is said and done, pay what the law requires, and you'll sleep a lot better at night. So discuss the forms on this particular page on one of our websites with a tax advisor. That's offshorecorporation.com/tax-forms. There you will find a list of many of the tax forms that are utilized for people who have offshore entities and bank accounts. Now, some foolishly believe that offshore service providers shouldn't exist in the U.S., that they should all be put out of business, and others want to go around the back door by placing such financial and psychological pressure on the leaders of the industry that they would want to change professions. Now, this short-sighted but well-meaning thinking shows a great lack of understanding of the offshore services industry and would simply create a bigger problem. And here's why. It is a fact, and we know this, that some people in the U.S. and other places are determined to establish international companies and bank accounts. This may be for business expansion, international diversification, or asset protection. And like it or not, those who desire these services with enough vigor will obtain them. If the providers in the U.S. are put out of business, offshore service providers who reside outside the U.S. are just a mouse click away. Now, we agree that any U.S. service providers who are knowingly and willfully assisting their customers in illegal tax evasion, money laundering, or other illicit activities should be put out of business. However, this is a very low percentage of providers in our estimation in the U.S. because those who provide such services are generally cognizant of the fact that in order to remain in business, they must act within the proper legal framework. Our company, for example, insists that every sales representative signs an agreement that our company policy is to obey the law first and make a profit second. They are not to knowingly do business with would-be customers who intend to use our services to carry out tax evasion, evade security laws, or conduct any other illegal activities. We repeatedly email reminders to employees, post bulletins, rehash the importance of legal compliance with coworkers in meetings, overhear conversations to make sure these policies are followed as much as we can. Our reverent fear of and respect for our laws, law enforcement, and lawmakers make us dance like ticks on a hot griddle on a daily basis to make sure there is never a chink in our legal armor. Moreover, we live here too, so we feel it as our patriotic duty to be sure we do our part to support our laws. Now, foreign service providers, on the other hand, have no such motivation to support our laws. They can put profit above adherence to U.S. statutes because they are not necessarily bound by them. In fact, I did a simple Google search a while back, and here is a summary of what I found. One misguided service provider in the Bahamas said, quote, under the statutory U.S. tax code, offshore banks and offshore companies can trade in the U.S. stock market free from capital gains taxes. They proceed to illustrate an erroneous structure where U.S. taxes could be evaded by the use of 3 international companies and 2 foreign trusts. Another website operated by attorneys in Central America shows how U.S. people may evade taxes in their jurisdiction. They say that a certain Central American government will not share information for tax offenses, even if it is construed to be a criminal tax matter. What another website purported was quite shocking. It discussed using offshore entities to raise a certain amount of money by promoting illegal drug activities. These tax havens, quote, will not share information about you. This is why it is best to set a goal, reach it, and stop all illegal activity before the government nails you. Yes, it actually said that. Shocking indeed. Another provider boasts of a certain African jurisdiction that, quote, there are no information sharing treaties and that they will, quote, not share information with any other country. Moreover, I've personally traveled to Zurich, Switzerland, down Bahnhofstrasse, to meet with several international bankers. In fact, I've walked down the street with the highest concentrations of banks in Switzerland there, and I visited the district in order to see firsthand the ongoings of the hub of the world's international financial center. The scenario was nearly the same in every Swiss institution. First of all, I shuffled into a small private room. They closed the door. A bank employee would push a silver cart offering me sparkled or non-sparkling bottled water, and a bank employee would soon come in wearing a suit. A gentleman would enter the room and shut the door. Now, one of the first questions I was asked in almost every instance was, will these accounts be reported or non-reported? In other words, the banker wanted to know whether or not the accounts were going to be reported to the government for tax purposes. And naturally, I said reported. The first time I heard this, my jaw almost hit the floor, but I was asked that in every situation when I entered a Swiss bank, the same question. Shocking. So this being said, it is very obvious to any reasonable person that annihilating the U.S.-based offshore services industry, while good-intentioned, would be a very big mistake. In fact, responsible and law-abiding service providers, such as our company, we strive to be, that put legal compliance above profits and that provide guidance that one should seek license and legal advice, should be allowed to remain alive and well. It would certainly be a big mistake to leave a hole in the international entity formation industry that would only be filled by those who have no incentive to respect the laws of our country. The, quote, let's see what we can charge them with, or let's hassle them till they're broke mentality is truly a suicide vest. So these statements are not merely self-serving persuasive tactics because I'm associated with an organization that provides international services. And incidentally, I believe we have established far more domestic entities than foreign. We talk to people day in and day out who truly believe they can put money over yonder and not pay taxes until they bring it back. And if they do not have U.S.-based companies such as ours to correct their thinking, you can see by the above examples who would be left to fill the gap. So now if you're watching this on YouTube, you like it, please click like below, enter your comments or questions. You can share this video. If you have any questions, you can visit us at offshorecompany.com or give us a call at 1-800-959-8819. We appreciate you watching. Thank you.